tell her story. Did it end the way she wanted?
Ethan?
Emotional damage.
Film!
Fist.
Season 2, Episode 9. What was your take this episode?
I think it was a great episode. I'm really glad they're back on track. I think it was another great episode. Finally, we're getting some big reveals. We're getting a lot of character action. It was amazing. I loved it when they were in the RV. I loved it when they are in Colony House and everyone's panicking. I love that there's this new monster, new bad guy in town, and I feel like everyone's coming together for the finale, which is going to be big. What do you think?
So much going on this episode. We did have a few dry episodes, but now they're right back into it, and I can't wait for the season finale. Let's get into the title, How to Stop the Music Box.
So it looks like the music box is coming out of anywhere. It came out the radio in the RV as well, so wherever it is coming through the radio waves, it's coming in your dreams. They've got to go back and find the actual music box which Boyd picked up. No one else has managed to pick it up, it seems. So they need to find it and they need to smash it up. That's what I believe.
Big hammered.
Oh yeah, 100%. Boyd needs to shoot it or something.
Shoot it with the bullets.
Yeah, with the bullets that don't work. Yeah, so much for that with the bio bullets. It didn't work at all.
Yeah, they just smiled it off.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of like a weird red herring anyway, wasn't it? But I knew it was never going to work, but...
Yeah, it had almost been too easy to just shoot them all. It was a bit of a convenient escape.
Yeah, they just walked past the monsters, didn't they?
It wasn't what... Yeah, the monsters didn't really even attempt to go for them, which makes me think that maybe the monsters and the music box are working together.
Yeah, well, the guy chained up on the wall, he said, you've got to go before the music stops, and he made it sound like it was more scary than the monsters. So whatever they were waiting for, they were smiling, going, oh, wait till you see what comes next. And all it was Abby, just an image of his wife. Do you think it was real, though, or do you think it was just like a vision he's having again?
I think it might just be a vision, but it could relate to the cemetery.
Why? Because she said, come back to me.
Yeah, when was the last time he visited her? I mean, it might just be completely false, and it might just be the same as when she was in the spiderweb.
Oh, yeah, he saw her in the spiderweb at the end of season 1, didn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, I keep seeing it. And then he saw Father Catry as well this season. He's got a sixth sense.
Do you think if Tabby goes to the lighthouse, she might be able to stop the music box?
Well, she's finally told Jade about the lighthouse in her dreams, hasn't she? So it looks like it's all coming together. They're going to form a new adventure team, and they're going to go out there and smash it up. Yeah, I think it's the only way. It's got to be Tabby or Boyd. Someone's got to go out there anyway, but Tabby seems to be the one that's like chosen by the place. Do you not think? But remember in her visions, she saw Jim hanging from the top of the tower.
Yeah, I wonder if that relates to the bottles.
Ah, the bottles in the tree.
Yeah. I wonder how they tie into it. They must tie in somehow, because even Jade brings up the last time he was underneath it, he got attacked by the American Civil War guy, and we see in one of the pictures that there's 2 American Civil War guys being drawn.
Oh, by Victor's sister?
Yeah.
Yeah. And she said it was just a story that Victor's mum used to tell. It kind of lends some of the point to Sarah's theory that people's nightmares or dreams, if they die in that place, become reality.
That brings us perfectly onto our second point of, is Sarah correct?
Sarah being correct about the place being an amalgamation of everyone's nightmares who dies there. I think not. I don't think so.
How would it start?
How would it start? Yeah, because Victor says he doesn't think this is going to happen again, doesn't he? When he's talking about everyone dying
how does he know? When asked, just Julie butts in, and it's just like, let him answer the question.
Oh, well. When we play our bingo game of Victor says he doesn't want to talk, this time he didn't say he doesn't want to talk. He just didn't talk.
He just got cut off.
He was never going to say it anyway.
Unbelievable.
But yeah, I don't think it is an amalgamation of everyone's nightmare. There seems to be something more to it than that. I still think back to the time when Jim heard that voice on the radio. There is a vibe to it that feels more controlled, more experimental, almost more laboratory.
If they get to the lighthouse and that's the key to the laboratory or something.
Have you ever seen Shutter Island?
I have seen Shutter Island.
Yeah,
yes.
You knew I was going to go down this route, didn't you? Yeah, you get to the lighthouse and it's just a guy and he's like, "You're the monster, Jim. You're crazy." I honestly can see it going down that route.
Yeah, I don't know. Is that too similar to it being a dream, or is it just like, you got that idea from Shutter Island? Like,
yeah, it's pretty much
for the writers. It's just like, that'll be exactly like Shutter Island, except with monsters. And it's just like, okay.
They couldn't get the rights to turn Shutter Island into a series.
Not really creative.
So they had to
one.
mix it with vampires and stuff in order to get it made. I don't think she's right. I think there's something more to it than that. I don't think anyone in the show has said what it is yet. There's been a few alien references. There's been a few vampire references.
Pocket dimensions.
Pocket
parallel
dimensions
universes.
is a good one. Yeah, Dale brings that one up. I don't think any of them are right. And I really, really don't want it to be the lost one where there's a good and evil and they're gods, and I really don't want
That would just annoy me at the end of the day. I think it might have more to do with fears than actually it becoming what you fear. I think it might just be a sense of, oh, we know we can push this guy through fear in this way, instead of the fears literally manifesting and becoming real. Nothing seemingly good manifests.
Oh, yeah, I guess so. Unless there is always that side of it when back in the day they used to go out to the forest and then Boyd found like
They
a
just
goat
find
and
stuff.
Yeah, and it was
Maybe,
like what they needed.
maybe that is like a tip in the favour then.
It kind of reminds me. Do you remember back in Harry Potter in the third film when he's with Professor Lupin in Defense Against the Dark Arts, and there's that monster and it turns into whatever you fear most?
Oh yeah,
Do you think it's kind of a bit like that?
possibly. It feels almost like, now that we've kind of talked through it, more like manifestation. What you think happens, or like what the group think happens.
What you believe.
Yeah, what you
is what will
believe is
happen.
what is
Yeah.
correct. They believe the monsters are scary and and to a degree they are, but then they do. So it's kind of like a self-fulfilling cycle prophecy almost, of just like, oh, the monsters are going to eat us. Okay, I don't believe that. Oh, then they won't, but then they will. Do you know what I mean? And it goes round in a circle.
That's actually a really good point, because Randall, when he's in the RV, he's like, "I'm not scared of you," and they just walk away. Like
Yeah.
they have no power over him. But then again, it might come back to my Monsters Inc. for adults idea, and that they do just feed off your pain.
Feed off Scream, yeah.
Exactly. And
If they
you're
don't
not
have any
scared of them,
pain.
they just don't care. And this is just a new way to get people scared.
Which brings us perfectly on to the point about Randall and the other two. What will happen to the three?
Oh, so we've heard that nursery rhyme over and over again. What is it? They touch, they break, they steal. They come for three unless you break the melody or unless you stop the melody. I think that they are going to be in this like state in limbo between life and death, and it will be, oh, we have to go quickly to the lighthouse in order to save Julie, because Julie is too important a character for them to kill. Mari, unfortunately, is not that important, but maybe she is to Christy. But yeah.
Especially with Tabby, as she's Julie's mother. It's too connected. Tabby's going to have to race to go and trying to save Julie. Like, you can see it coming. I did think it was interesting then when back to the bus driver recites the nursery rhyme. There's no real explanation. Okay, what does that mean? Just has a lot of them like looking around, looking shocked, and it's just like, but what does it mean?
It is interesting that it's a child's nursery rhyme though, and the boy in white said it to Elgin on his way into the town. That's what his dream was, that he was so afraid of and that he'd forgotten. Because it does lend a lot of weight to the theory that this is all just a child's imagination, and Victor's got a childlike mind, and the boy in white's probably behind quite a lot of this town. So it lends a lot of weight to the theory that if nursery rhymes are really important, the place is probably a child's imagination.
I do have a question about the cicadas and the three, because we see at the beginning of the episode, one person's already been killed by it, and then it infects three more, which is Randall, Julie, and Mary. So that's 4.
Well, you have the 3 who are sort of in the stasis in between the 2, and then you have the girl, Paola, at the start, who died. So there could be more than just the cicadas.
So it's not 3 though, is it?
Well, the 4th one died, so...
Yeah, I know, but that's kind of the point of just like, well, it feels like they've already broken their own rule of 3.
Yeah, maybe it's a good point. Maybe lady at the start, her chest was ripped open, her organs were sort of all over the place. It didn't look like one of the original monsters, like Smiley hadn't got to her, and her jaw had been ripped off and her leg was in a funny position, and she was staring at the mirror.
I suppose that's because she was asleep though. The other 3 were all awake,
Were
weren't
awake
they?
at the time.
Yeah. What we see in the episodes is the fact that no one else can see the bugs. Only the person being attacked can actually see them. So I don't know. Maybe she had something different.
We don't get to see what happens to her. It's a good question. What happened to her? Why? We still haven't found out why Kelly was nailed to a tree. There's so many questions still outstanding. So I hope the finale wraps up a lot more questions than we have.
Otherwise, there's going to be a lot of disappointment and hopefully a season 3.
So, comment! So we have a comment from Ahaya's house. Sorry if I butchered your name. It starts, "It could be a coma ward in a hospital. Remember when Boyd went to Abby's grave and he said that he was in a coma and she and his son were sitting next to him and saying, 'Wake up.'" What do you think?
So he's created all of this in his memory? Like, it's his coma, or there's multiple patients in comas?
It could be either way, I think, but it looks like Boyd was having a whole thing this season, wasn't he, where he thought everything was a dream, and he did hear someone say "wake up" when he was at her grave.
It is rather convenient that they were all driving at the time as well. You never see someone walk into from. The only person that's seemingly been there for ages was Victor, and you don't know how he got there. Either, he grew up there or something. But you never see anyone walk there, which possibly they all could be in car crashes and then comas from that. But then, is that too close to purgatory and then everyone kick off? Because, they're already dead, like Lost again.
Yeah, it is. It's a bit like the Ashes to Ashes TV show in Britain, if you ever saw that. It's kind of like a purgatory where people aren't quite dead yet and they have to prove where they'd be if they were to die. I think it's possible. I don't think it's been disproven, but I don't really want it to be true. I think there's more to it. I think there's more mythology behind it, and I hope that isn't the answer.
There is. But the only thing that would make me say that it's definitely not is the fact that there's monsters there. Unless you're saying that the monsters that's them dying in the real world. But it doesn't really feel like that, because it feels much more random and not just like this person just suddenly died. It's like, no, they got caught outside. It was their own fault that they died a little bit.
Yeah, it's kind of too brutal and horrific, isn't it? Almost.
It's too kind of like, it's not by chance. It's not like someone in their home or in Colony House has just randomly had a heart attack or fallen down and then died. It's like, they all die in really brutal ways, but quite avoidable ways, because if you have the talisman, you're not going to die. So it's like, if you're in a coma, you're never going to die as long as you had the talisman, essentially.
Yeah, it's kind of like, why would they deserve not to wake up from the coma just because they made bad decisions? But maybe. I guess maybe is the answer.
Maybe. But then again, you could survive forever there if you just hung up the talisman, just sat down, chilled.
Just be Victor. Just don't tell anyone anything and just hide all the time.
True. Right, this one's from Lord Hollow. I kill one of those things, everyone in the town is going to hear it. I'm bringing it up in casual conversation. I'm putting Smiley's face on a t-shirt. I'm paying someone to write a ballad about the battle. Agreed. It's going to be everywhere. There's going to be his head on a pike. I don't know why Donna was so concerned.
Because she's a mole.
She might be a mole. Yeah.
Randall's right, she's a mole.
Randall might be right in that one, because what else is the reason to hide that? And then Donna's like, I don't have to tell you and stuff like that. And it's just like, that is such mole behaviour. But it is, like, why would you hide that? The whole reason Randall has now, like, kind of got this idea that there are rats and there are moles in the town is because people are being overtly secret.
Being weird.
For no reason.
They are being weird.
In fact, it is very good evidence that there is a rat or mole for Randall, if you look at it from his perspective. If the people around the town start to hide bodies, and it's like, oh, what? Suddenly you've killed one? Well, that's very convenient, isn't it? It's like, oh, you don't want anyone to know? You're just going to burn the body? It's almost like you guys are in on it. It's like, you can kind of see where he's coming from.
The decision to burn the body was really weird.
Very, very strange. Especially like when it came from Donna, and then Donna has like this like, oh, what do you mean? You're crazy for thinking I'm a rat. It's like, that would make me think you're a rat even more.
It was a weird thing. But he is starting to question the wrong people. He's getting too much down the rabbit hole of thinking everyone's a mole. I think he's going to get super paranoid now, if he's not even alive, to be honest, because I think at the end of this episode, it looks like he's not making it out.
Yeah, I don't know how he's going to get out of this one. There's not exactly anyone gunning to get him back.
But yeah, anyway,
I mean, you got Julie, you've got Mary, at least you have like Christy and Tabby, and the Matthews family wanted to get Julie back, but who you got wanting to bring back Randall right now?
No one.
Jim's not really into it.
Jim's
like, but he was asking some good questions, although he does seem to be a hated character. He does seemingly ask some good questions of just like some bizarre decisions, and just why would you do that? If everyone's working together and everyone's trying to get out of here, why are people suddenly hiding the secrets? Doesn't make any sense. But I do agree with Lord Hollow. The face would absolutely be on a t-shirt. I'd be selling those.
New merch.
Right outside Colony House. Fuck these vegetables. Buy the new merch.
What would Vlad do? That's what I always ask.
Right, that's all we have time for today.
Thanks for watching.